Welcome to episode 14 of the Carolina Kart Scene. This week we'll talk about a couple of different updates on the karting community and a lot of different tracks that are running. It's one of the great things with karting community that we're seeing so many tracks running that this episode is getting longer and longer every week, and I appreciate everybody that watches it. If you haven't, please like and subscribe as always so we can help grow the channel. And so let's get to it. One update that came out this week is 178 Speedway in Pelham, South Carolina. They've been doing a lot of track renovations, and they would projected to try to run this coming weekend on the 20th. But for unseen circumstances, they were not. So be on the lookout for the next week or two. Hopefully they'll be racing. I've talked to my brother and my nephew that race karts also, and we're going to hope to try to make this event sometime back later in the year. So definitely check out their Facebook page to see what they have up. Next up, the update that came out this week was WKA came out with a Dirt Tech update on weight and mounting it. They changed up a lot of different things and clarified a lot of stuff as far as what size of bolts do you use, determine on how much weight you're attaching to the cart, how many bolts you need to be using, the size of those, washers, a lot of great things that went into it. They also adjusted some of the weights in the Champ Kart series and looking at different things. So definitely go and check their bulletin out on their Facebook page. And personally, I had to go and change up a couple of bolts that I had. I thought I was 100%, but it's always to be good on the safe side than to second guess yourself. First racetrack I want to talk about in North Carolina is Mitchell Speedway in Dudley, North Carolina, just outside of Goldsboro, North Carolina. This is the asphalt oval that we talked about last week, and they will be running on Friday, May the 19th. The gates open up at 6, practice starting at 6:30. They have Dakar 400, Clone 400, Senior Champ, Super Stock, and also Red Plate. This track will also add classes as more people do come out, so if you got a couple of carts laying around or some buddies you know and they don't have your class listed, they are always open for more racers, so definitely brush off the dust and get out and check them out. Next up is Woodleaf Raceway Park, running again on Friday, May the 19th. They'll be running their Champions on Dirt Wing Kart Series hosted by Hoosier Racing Tire. Gates open up at 5, pre-tech and tire sale and certification at 5:30. With practice starting at 7. They've got a lot of different wing classes on tap, so this is a growing class. So if you're interested in this or interested in maybe joining in, definitely a good night to get out there and to see them. Running in North Carolina on May the 20th is Coleridge Speedway in Ramshore, North Carolina. If you were at the last Ultimate Series that they ran, they put on a really great show and a very good program. I got there a little bit late and almost missed the very last race about at 9 o'clock or so. So this is a very well-run track, so definitely get out. They have Senior Champ, Team Champ, full slate of junior classes, Clone 350, 375. So definitely come out and check them out and race with them. Next up is Horsepower Park Go-Kart Track in Morganton, North Carolina. They'll be running on May the 20th with a full slate of classes. There's been a lot of development of them moving their classes around and trying to find the right mix of days and tracks and the classes. As I mentioned earlier, this is a new track that just opened up, so they are definitely doing a lot of improvements, trying to make the show better, trying to get the flow of the nights going, and to help everybody out. This is also one of those racetracks that I mentioned earlier that actually offers a test and tune nights where you pay a small fee to enter and you can get out and practice and get out there and get some laps in. So typically that is done on a Friday night for them, so check out their Facebook page to see if they're running, if you're planning on coming out. But they will be running on May the 20th, so definitely if you're in the western part of North Carolina, get out and check them out. Next up, running on May the 20th is TriCounty Cartway in Kinley, North Carolina. They'll be running the WKA National Dirt Series. This is one of the races in that series. There's a lot of different classes. Well, Maxxis tires with a lot of money on, guaranteed money on the line. There's also some warm-up classes, and there'll also be 5 or 6 Reaper tire events throughout the night. In addition to, they're going to have a huge junior payout in the purple plate class. It's a 30-lap race, Maxxis tires, $2,000 to the winner, so it's definitely going to be very interesting. As I mentioned before, the junior drivers seem to be putting on a great show every time I go somewhere to watch them. So this is definitely, if any race you want to get out and check out, this is going to be the one. So hopefully you get out and support this racetrack. Next up, running in South Carolina is Southern Cartway, running on May the 20th. This is going to be part of their 19th annual hog race in Loris, South Carolina. Gates open at 10. Barbecue served at 12 with practice starting at 1. So if you weigh in for your class before the barbecue, hopefully you can make the weight after you weigh in after you eat. A lot of great classes, like I mentioned earlier on the line. They have clone heavy, super heavy, senior stock clone, pro drivers throughout the field, amateur predator. So definitely almost something for everybody in the field. So definitely get out and check them out and race or watch. Next up is Hanging Rock Cartway, running on May the 20th. They'll be putting on a full show in Kershaw, South Carolina. They'll also be running flathead on that night. So if you've got an old flathead, dust it off, put it on a cart, and definitely come out. They're running a 390 class with open tire. And if they have a lot of people with flatheads come out, then they'll add more classes. And for those of you that spectate some of these races, this is always a great and interesting class. They put on a lot of speed, a lot of great racing. So if you're interested in karting, definitely in the area, get out and check them out. Next up is Warrior Creek Speedway in Gray Court, South Carolina. They'll be running the Carolina Mowdown for 2023. This is put on by the National Lawnmower Racing Championship, and they will be racing on Saturday night. They'll also have kart races on that night with traded tires, so definitely check out their Facebook page for information and get out there and support them. Also running on May the 20th is Outback Speedway in Gray Court, South Carolina. They'll just release their Saturday night series dates, with the first date being May the 20th and then throughout the year. A lot of great prizes on the line throughout the year, clutches, bodies, and so forth. Gates open at 5 p.m., racing starting at 7. So it's a Maxxis Tire event for this one, so definitely go and check them out. First racetrack in Georgia that we want to talk about is Hurricane Creek Raceway in Alma, Georgia. This racetrack is located in southeast Georgia and is running on Saturday, May the 20th. There's a lot of different classes they'll have up on for the line. They don't have the full running order yet, so definitely check out their Facebook page to see what kind of updates they have, and obviously if weather may affect them later in the week.